Hey guys, this is Dana, and this is a year in review video. If you can believe it, my channel is 1 year old today. Today is its birthday. April 19th, 2015 is when the channel was started. So it's been a really wild last 12 months. Learning curve after learning curve after learning curve is after learning curve. Like it just hasn't let up. And I've had a lot of people ask me about, just different lessons learned and how my channel came to be and uh, just kind of what all has gone on in the past 12 months. So that's what I'm going to cover in this video today. So let me rewind to kind of the beginning and I'll go from there. So I had always known that I wanted to write about what happened to me. I had known that since the moment it happened. Um, I had started and stopped writing about it many times over the years, but I would open up my laptop and I would get a few paragraphs in, and then I would realize I am not ready to do this, and then I would shut it down. And I would tell myself, maybe again in the next 3 to 6 months, I'll try again, and we'll go from there. And I would periodically do that, but it was the same. Like I wasn't ready. It wasn't until I began dating this guy. We'll just call him Mike. I dated this guy Mike. We went on a few dates, and it was the same type of feelings that I had when I had been dating Jack and Steve. And that relationship had started up again very much the same way. It was this whirlwind situation. This guy just seemed absolutely perfect. We just had so much in common. He was, intelligent and witty and really easy to be around. But I'd already gone through this a couple times, and all of those feelings of there's something off. I couldn't shake that feeling, and my night terrors had kicked up again, and I was making myself nuts, wondering, is it him? Is it me? Is this relationship a really great relationship, or is this relationship a really problematic relationship? And I couldn't tell. And I couldn't tell if, because there wasn't anything. I mean, there was the whirlwind situation, right? There was the love bombing, but at the time I didn't know what that was. And so I didn't know that that was a red flag. So the red flags that I was seeing and feeling, they weren't concrete. I couldn't specifically pinpoint anything. And so I was really thinking to myself, maybe I do have issues with trust or with men, or, you know, and maybe it's due to my past with my relationships I've been in, or it's due to the fact that I used to work at a domestic violence shelter, or that I am a psychiatric nurse and I work with people that have personality disorders and that are mentally ill. Like maybe I'm hypervigilant, right? And so I didn't want to let a good thing go because of my issues. That was my concern. And so I began journaling about what I was experiencing. And I was talking to a few friends of mine at work that are therapists, and trying to just gain clarity. And I was making myself nuts trying to figure it out. It wasn't until I joined a online support group through Facebook for narcissistic abuse, that in hearing the different stories from different people, that was my moment of clarity. That was the big aha moment in realizing I wasn't alone and that I wasn't crazy. And it just was like the light flipped on. Everything just made sense. And that really just added fuel to my fire, because then I thought, this is a really big problem, and I really wanted to bring a voice to that. And so that catapulted me into turning my journal into a blog. And so I started blogging about this. That was going on for about a month or so. And then I got a phone call out of the blue from an old friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in years, like probably 3 or 4 years. And I was telling her I started this blog, and kind of what was going on, and filling in more details about my relationship with Steve and Jack. I hadn't talked to her about this because it was, it's embarrassing. And I just, you know, I hadn't really told that many people in like detail what had happened. And she was very supportive, and she had made the comment. She said, you really remind me a lot of Cheryl Strayed, the author of the book Wild, that was recently turned into a movie with Reese Witherspoon. And she said, you really remind me of her. And if you're not familiar with the book, Cheryl, it's all about her story of kind of triumph over trauma and her reconnecting with herself. And that was just like one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me, but it was also the most empowering because I really respect Tony. I really respect her insight and her feedback. And so the fact that she would even compare me to Cheryl Strayed was like, I was so flattered and humbled by that. And so Tony had said, "Well, you should really start a podcast about all this." And I thought, wow, I hadn't ever thought to do that, but I didn't know how to start a podcast. I still don't know how to start a podcast. But I thought, you know what? I think I could figure out how to start a YouTube channel. And so I did. And I didn't know what I was doing, like at all. If you watch my earlier videos, they're really bad. Like there's no microphone, the video quality is terrible. It's filmed on my iPhone. It's still really super rough. Like my setup here is rough. Okay. I film on my laptop, and I do have a microphone, but it's still a pretty primitive setup as far as most YouTubers go. And I began just filming a ton of videos. Like I said, it was like this dam just burst, and I was writing, 2 or 3 blog posts a day. I was filming probably 2 or 3 videos a day. I was just really on fire about this topic. And then I began, well, let me back up a little bit. It was what really made me decide to start doing YouTube videos was one day I had checked the analytics, the traffic numbers on my blog, and I hadn't ever checked them before because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know kind of what all of that, what I would have used those numbers for. It just seemed kind of irrelevant at that time. I realized that my blog had reached 117 people in one day, and that was just absolutely overwhelming for me. It was incredible, just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and it was just the realization that I needed to talk about this because there were a lot of people looking for this information. And now, mind you, before when I was working at the domestic violence shelter, the most I had ever talked to about this at one time was about 14 women and a handful of children. So the thought of reaching 117 people in one day was absolutely just like mind-boggling to me. So then I started my videos and everything, and people began emailing me, and they either were emailing me about their own situations, or they were emailing me congratulating me on the channel, which I found really really odd that they were congratulating me on the channel, because but I thought it was really nice. Like, oh, that's, people just must do that. Like I just didn't know. And so here I am. I'm still working full time, and I was trying to respond to all of these emails that started coming in, and they started coming in fast. Like, it was just my email inbox, before I knew it, was just getting flooded with emails. And I very quickly realized I was not organized for this. I was not prepared for this. I don't know how to handle this. And the overwhelm began to set in. And then I looked at my numbers, my views for my YouTube channel, and that first month my videos had gotten 345,000 views. And that really overwhelmed me, because it's amazing, the stuff, the insecurities and all of the stuff that putting yourself out there will kick up. Like, I hadn't anticipated any of that. So I just really began wondering, am I the right person to be doing this? Am I healed enough to be doing this? Is this, I don't know how to make videos, and am I doing this topic justice, I guess? And again, like lots of insecurities. It's hard. It's hard to see yourself on video. Like we just physically, it's hard to listen to your own message. It's hard to get an idea of what your message is. It's hard to find your own voice. Um, I didn't anticipate any of that. I just really kind of thought, well, I'll flip on the camera, my phone, and I will just start talking, and that that will be that. And but it's weird, and it's writers have the same thing. Like, if you ever heard writers talk about it takes a while to find your voice, and it truly does. And it's the same with doing video. Like it takes a while to get into your stride and to figure out what your message is and how you want to best go about like delivering that message. So when I first started, so then I got into some YouTube support groups and stuff for different YouTubers, and not I mean, I guess they're kind of support groups. It's just people sharing tips on how to video and what equipment and things to anticipate and all of that. And people were saying, "Oh, you really need to film against a white background. When you film, you need to talk faster. When you film, you need to talk only about what you know. And you need to establish yourself as an expert." And so I thought, well, I need to go do all that. And I should also add, I had no peace about that. Like, my whole thing of follow your peace, I had none. And I wasn't taking my own advice on that. And because I thought, well, they know what they're talking about. And they do. They for sure do know what they're talking about. It didn't resonate with me. And it didn't resonate with y'all either. So I had a lot of people that were emailing me and commenting and saying, "Dana, you're talking too fast. Like, you're freaking me out. Like, just slow it down." Or, "The lighting is terrible. Why are you filming against a white background?" And then I moved out into my living room and started filming, and people were like, "Oh, I like this so much better. It's just, it's more you. It's your couch and it's your living room." And, you know, and then I decided I don't want to try to position myself as an authority on this, because in my own experience, when I was looking for clarity in my situations, I had gone to many experts and authorities on the topic, and I had been re victimized by them. And it was not intended, I'm sure, but they really felt like they knew my situation best, and they were just going to tell me how it was. And that's not cool, right? Like, that's the whole purpose of like abuse, and everything is abusive people try to get, they take power and control away from other people, and that's not okay. And so I realized, no, I don't want to be like that. Like, my whole goal is to try to empower people to learn to trust their own judgment, to regain their power and control over themselves, over their situation, and realize that we know our situation best, and to go with your gut instinct, because you really do know your situation best. Like, we can do feedback and support and stuff in the support groups, or on the weekly live streams, or in the red flag series, but ultimately at the end of the day, you know your situation best, right? So there was that. And then just dealing with a lot of the overwhelm. I struggled with, there were many days I had a hard time getting out of bed, because I just didn't know if I could really actually do this, and struggling through all of that. And then with the technology, and my channel went down for a week because it was channel bombed. And then YouTube was saying, "We're going to delete all of your videos because you're in violation of our terms of service," which I wasn't. And trying to untangle all of that, and then realizing, I need to be backing up all my videos, which I hadn't realized. And it takes a while to kind of get your sea legs with writing or with doing YouTube videos. And so I guess to all of those out there that want to start their own YouTube channel, just realize this is normal. Like, this is all very normal. It's part of just the learning curve of it all. So don't get down on yourself. Don't think that other YouTubers just have it all figured out. It takes about a solid year of putting out videos on a regular basis to really find your voice and to get into your groove. I'm still getting into my groove. Um, and so another big thing I did with my channel, so like I was saying, people were telling me, you really need to talk about what you know. Well, what I knew from both a personal and professional level was female victims and male abusers. And that's what I focused on. And I inadvertently minimized what men were going through. That was not my intention. I didn't think about it. So I began, getting emails and stuff from men that were saying, Dana, don't forget about us. Like, we're going through this too. We need help too. Can you talk about what men go through? And really realizing that we needed to make the topic of abuse the focus and not so much the gender or even the dynamic, because abusive people can be, it's not just a domestic relationship. It's not just a significant other. It can be a parent or a child or a significant other or a sibling or a neighbor or a friend or a coworker or a boss or kind of what have you. So lots, it just took a lot of time to refine my message and to get clear on what I was trying to do with this channel. And then learning to deal with the trolls and the criticism. And I thought I was prepared for that. I thought I would be able to handle that. And I was really rattled. Like I wasn't. And I didn't know. I mean, it really, when I would get negative feedback, like hateful, not just like constructive criticism, but like really hateful things said, it would knock me out of commission for like 3 or 4 days. I just had a really hard time dealing with that. I don't know what I expected from people, but I definitely did not expect that. I did not expect people to just be so hateful. And I mean, that was ignorant on my behalf, but I just didn't expect it. And interestingly enough, it was right around that time that I happened to stumble across an interview that, again, like Cheryl Strayed, she keeps like resurfacing in my life. It's weird. But she had done this interview and she was talking about her book. And so when she published her book, which is this kind of her memoir, she had said it was so hard for her to read reviews on Amazon of her book, and she stopped doing it because people were, in effect, they were trashing her story, they were trashing her. And she said, it's one thing if it's, when people say that they don't like your story and it's yours, it's like your memoir, they're basically in effect saying that they don't like you. And that's really hard to hear. And so she just articulated that so perfectly, because that's what I was struggling with. Because when I'm sharing my life, and so when people say, "Oh, well, this woman," da 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 da, and they're criticizing me, or they're really tearing my approach down, and they're entitled to their opinion, and I'm glad that they're giving their opinion, because I don't want people that just support me. I want to be the person that starts the conversation about all of this. Like that's how I see myself in all of this. Like, I don't have all the answers, and I don't want to. Like, I couldn't, even if I did want to. Like, it's all of us combined. It's our feedback combined that's how other people get clarity. So hearing her say that just made me realize, okay, I'm not being hypersensitive. This is very normal. It's hard to hear this kind of criticism, and I'm just gonna have to get a thicker skin. But yeah, it was a long, hard road, and I still struggle with having that thicker skin, because those comments, it just, they come out of nowhere, and it's, you're scrolling along reading your comments, and then all of a sudden you get something like that. It just really knocks the wind out of you. So um yeah. And then there's been, I've had safety and security issues. I've talked about that a little bit before, but if you guys are going to start your own YouTube channel, just making sure that you're being safe with the name that you choose, and kind of how you're going about it, and everything. So because there's trolls and there's haters out there that just like to stir the pot and be ugly and be nasty. So what? Okay, so where are we today? Where are we today with all this? So here's what's really wild. I added this up the other day, This material, between my Facebook page, between the YouTube channel, and my blog, reaches over 1 million people a month. A month. That is just wild to me. So I think it's fantastic that it's reaching that many people and bringing that much awareness to it. But again, it's incredibly heartbreaking that it would reach that many people. So, um, and I've had like some of the coolest things that have happened from this is I've had so many people kind of come out of the woodwork and offer to volunteer to help. So right now I have a gal, her name is Dawn. She runs the Facebook page and she's just been a godsend. She does a phenomenal job with it. I did not know what I was doing and she knew that. so so she stepped up and took over and she's done an amazing job. There's people that have stepped up in the different support groups because now the support groups have a combined between the two support group. Well, between the two support groups, there's probably about 6,000 or so people in there, and so we've had a lot of people step up as admins that are helping. They're volunteering their time and helping to kind of just keep the groups because these are highly charged, highly emotional situations, highly emotional people that are coming into these support groups, and so they help just keep things calm. It's just been amazing how people have really come together over the past 12 months and how much we've been able to do in the past 12 months. So, what's next? So, the next 12 months is I'm really excited about it because I think there's going to be I know that there's going to be a lot of major things happening. I am going to figure out how to start a podcast. Damn it. Like, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out how to start a podcast. And then I'm working on a couple different books that are hopefully going to come out. I am kicking around the idea of starting a nonprofit for all of this. We'll see how that shakes out. I still have to do a lot of research as how that all would work. And perhaps the biggest change that's like on the horizon right now is this channel, if you haven't already noticed, is going to be changing its name. And so we're changing it from narcissist support to thrive after abuse. And I've gotten a lot of mixed feedback and mixed emotions about the name. I have my own mixed emotions about the name, but I really wanted an empowering name where, that talks more about us and that talks more about our healing and the next steps. So that's what I have. And I just want to just a big, big, big thank you to everybody, to all of the volunteers that help me run this site because I work full time and it's been an awful lot and I still have so much to figure out. I really, really do. Oh my gosh. So thank you to all of the volunteers that have been helping with this. Thank you to all of the community members here that have been commenting on the videos and supporting each other and helping give each other resources and just being there. Thank you to everybody that joins in the live streams and that helps each other as well. So it's just been amazing to connect with you guys. I don't know where you all have been hiding my whole life, but I'm really glad that I have met all of you now and that we've connected this way. So that's my year in review. So if you have anything, questions, comments, concerns, frustrations, ideas, input, comment down below and we will go from there. So as always, lots of love to you guys. You are not alone in this. You are not crazy and you really can move forward and heal. So take care and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.